So what was the government's immediate reaction? You say that millions of people came out, and which city it was? I guess Tabriz?
Tabriz, Ardabil, Zanjan, Urumiyeh, Khoymand, it goes on and on, Goshacha, everywhere. Any city, like even small cities like Hia, which is like a very small town. So there's not 1 or 2 or 10 cities that they had demonstration, almost in every city.
What was the immediate reaction from the government?
Government initially, at first they were not violent towards demonstrators, but
the government wasn't violent?
Yes, no, they were at the start. They because some of the local special forces that they use to control demonstrations. Local special forces, they were not agreeing with those troops that they came from capital on how to control the crowd. But towards the end, towards the end of the demonstrations, they were violent. And there were people in some cities like Suldus were killed, and there were some shots in the face with bullet spraying guns and blinded. We have one individual who is now living in Switzerland who lost both of his eyes due to this type of guns they were using to shoot people. And some were killed and some were arrested. There were many injured in the hospital. They were in hospitals, and following that, we had some death in custody. Those individuals who were taken from hospital to prisons, they lost their lives.
How long did demonstrations continue? Was it only May 22nd, or did it last longer than that?
Not all the cities came out at the same time, at the same day. So then there were a few days like that we had demonstration in different cities. It took around 1 week, and it was demonstrations were happening in different cities on different days.
What was the government's late reaction? Did they issue apology? Did they? I heard that they closed the newspaper.
Yeah. Yes, later on they closed the newspaper, and they imprisoned the cartoonists for some time. They never apologized. No one received any apologies from government. But then it resulted in many Azerbaijanis dead and injured and imprisoned.
Do you know how many were killed and how many were imprisoned?
There were, we have the name of 10 people from different cities who were killed, but probably the number could go much higher since most of the families who were contacted, and then they were ordered by special by the Ministry of Intelligence not to speak to anyone about their loved ones. But also we had at some point list of hundreds of people who were injured, and many following the demonstration they were arrested during demonstrations, and they were sentenced to years. Some of them years, like Abbas Husani said, years in prison for participating and organizing this demonstration.
Okay. What was the reaction of Ahmadinejad government in terms of how did he try to describe the situation?
They basically tried to ignore, and then at some point they were trying to say that these demonstrators came from other countries like Azerbaijan and Turkey, and then they changed their direction, saying that Azerbaijanis would never be following the directions of the foreign governments, or like trying to create ethnic tension. So the reaction was all over the place, from one day saying that they were not Iranians who were demonstrating, all the way going to saying that it was foreign powers were trying to create problem in the region.
Mm-hmm. What was the reaction from international organizations and the governments of the other countries?
At that time, Amnesty International was very receptive to trying to help Azerbaijanis. But other than that, also Azerbaijanis who are active for the rights of language and cultural rights of Azerbaijanis, they were not at that time able to really organize and bring attention to this. So it was basically did not get out in the international media, and most of the international organizations, they were not able to do much.
Mm-hmm. What about the Iranian media, the mainstream media in Iran?
Media inside the country is controlled by government, so they did not do much. But also Persian media like Voice of America and BBC and other Radio Farda, other media that was funded by foreign governments, they were not interested in bringing this issue to the news.
So it's been 3 years now. It's the third year anniversary of the events. How is the situation of the language and rights of Azerbaijanis in Iran?
Nothing has changed. Still, this is the same. The government is still arresting people who are asking for implementation of their constitution. Iranian constitution gives rights to Azerbaijanis and other ethnic minorities to have their own language schools and lessons in their language and have their media, but still nothing has changed. There is not a clear statistic of how many Azerbaijanis live in Iran, because none of the censuses are taken based on ethnicity, or nor language. So you can't say that you can't identify like an Iranian is from what ethnic background or what language. But there are estimates like there are 25 to 30 million Azerbaijanis living in Iran.
And my last question for today, what about the other ethnic minorities in Iran? Are they having the same problems? Do they have to also fight for their cultural and language rights?
All the ethnic non-Persian ethnic groups in Iran, they deal with the same thing. Persian is the only language used in education, media, and in government offices. But there are other than Azerbaijanis, there are Kurds, Arab, Baluchis, Lurs, Turkmen. None of them have any, not even one class in their language. But some regions are they are struggling through armed groups and violence, but some regions like Azerbaijan is quite peaceful, and they're asking for their rights peacefully.
All right. Thank you very much for coming to talk to us, and I hope one day human rights will prevail all over the world, including Iran. I was wondering if you have any final comments.
Thank you for having me, and I wish you and all our radio best of luck in their upcoming year.
Also try to contact Iranian embassy in Ottawa to learn Iranian government's official position on the cartoon incident that happened 4 years ago in Iran. But we were not successful to obtain an official position from Iranian government.